We literally sleep, eat, and poop fantasy basketball championships. We believe every NBA fan that plays fantasy football should also play fantasy basketball. If it's your first time here, I'm Robin Marks, your personal fantasy basketball analyst. I've made stops in my career at NBC Sports Roto World and at #basketball, and now I work for you. Quick order of business. Last week, we announced our winner, Ty Brasington, for the PSA Darius Garland rookie card. So he won this card but has not claimed it. We'll give him one more week. If he doesn't claim it, drop it in the comments if you're interested in the card. So Ty Brasington, we posted this on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, the works. And what we're also doing this month to end out April and essentially the fantasy basketball season, we're also going to be giving away this LaMelo Ball PSA 9 rookie card as well. So we'll be giving that away to you as well. So if you're interested in either one of the cards, just drop a comment in the YouTube version of this episode. So we're going to jump right into the value. But before we do that, I want to make sure you know at the end of this episode, I have some very, very special announcements. So I want to make sure that you know that so you can stick around. So first player we want to talk about is our cover boy extraordinaire, none other than Bub Carrington. Bub Carrington is wild interesting to me, right? So we're going into the fantasy playoffs, and one thing you want to be mindful of are people who are playing high-quality games versus low-quality games, right? He has a couple of high-quality games to start out the week, and he's the kind of player that you want to grab. Honestly, all of the Wizards, and there are tons of Wizards available on your waiver wire right now. Bub Carrington in ESPN leagues is only rostered in 10% of leagues. Where they do that at? Listen, he's available. And over the last 7 days, his minutes per game has increased from his season average of 29.5 minutes per game all the way up, stick with me, to 33.7 minutes per game. Woo! Top is off, boobies is out, hair blowing in the frickin' wind. Over the last 7 days, Bub is also averaging 12.3 points per game. Yes. 5 rebounds per game. Yes. And check this out, 6.7 assists per game. Let that sink in. He's also chipping in 1.3 steals and 1 block per game. So if you are playing category league, points league, I don't care if you're playing in a sleeper lock in mode. I don't care if you're playing the daily fantasy. Bub Carrington is a player you want to keep your eyes on as we go into the fantasy basketball playoffs. We have 10 more players to talk about, but before we do that, I want to talk to you quickly about Bet Online. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA, college basketball to NHL and UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one source for sports betting. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. Bet Online, the game starts here. So I got more players for you, yo. Like, I'm really trying to stack the value today. If you guys are feeling where we're coming from, let me know in the comments whether you are listening on Spotify. You can drop a comment there, but please, on YouTube, please let us know if you are getting value here. Now, the next player is on fire. He is a priority ad. He doesn't have the best schedule this week, but I think for your fantasy playoffs in general, if he's still available, this is somebody I'm going to grab and stash. I'm going to grab and hold, whatever it is. Is your man's in him from the Philadelphia 76ers, Quentin Grimes. When I tell you, Quentin Grimes is cooking with hot bacon grease. Like bubbling in the cut. Your man over the last 7 days, check this out. He's averaging 23.5 minutes per game in the last 7. 5.8 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and I am not done. Buckle up your fantasy basketball seatbelts. Your man is averaging 1.8 steals per game. I don't give a shit, Sue puppy. If your men's in him is on the waiver wire, you need to snatch him up. Drop who you got to drop. Make the adjustment. I don't care what you got to do. If he's available, this is a priority ad because I think going down the stretch with the injury to Embiid and Paul George and just the daggone hot dumpster fire mess that's going down in Philly, there will be nothing but runway for this young man to continue to cook up. So for me, I'm grabbing Quentin Grimes wherever I can. Just to give you some background, recently on the 1st of March, your man had 44 points. On the 4th against Minnesota, he had 30 points. He's putting on for the city like Meek Millie. With that being said, grab yourself some Quentin Grimes. The next play we want to talk about is also a priority ad. Doesn't have the best schedule this week, and honestly, you might need to drop an ad as needed, but if he's available and you're in the position where you feel like you could hold on to him, I would definitely make this move immediately. From the Dallas Mavericks, Najee Marshall. Now, people have been really high publicly about Spencer Dinwiddie. Like many of the analysts in the space, shout out to all my fantasy basketball analysts out there. A lot of people are talking about Spencer Dinwiddie. I'm seeing his face everywhere. And for me, the guy to add is Najee Marshall, man. Like, I get it. He does not play the same position as Kyrie Irving, but that usage needs to go somewhere. So even if Spencer Dinwiddie gets some run, Najee is the one that's actually cooking up in the lab. So for me, that's the player I'm targeting. Over the last 7 days, he's had an increase in his minutes per game. He went from 25.5 on the season up to 33 minutes per game. 33, like Patrick Ewing, 33. 19 points a game over the last 7. 9.3 rebounds. Woo! Man. 3.5 assists, nothing to sneeze at, but check this out. Come close for this. Your man Najee Marshall is averaging a whopping 2.3 steals per game. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. That's insane, y'all. That's wild. I'm like, what? Crazy. Anyway, moving along, the next player we want to take a look at, we're going to go right back to the Washington Wizards. Now, I would grab, as these play, depending on your team, right, what's happening with your matchup, you might not be able to get all of these guys, and some of these guys might not be available. But I'm looking at all of them this week, especially early in the week because they have 2 high-quality games that week. So you're going to have guys on your bench that you can't use that you might want to drop. I had to drop Karis LeVert for one of these guys because he ain't playing. And the day that he is playing, he's like on the bench because I have all of my starters in. So for me, these guys will be super valuable for this week in particular. So make sure you grab him. And if you're not sure what week it is, everyone is confused about what week it is. Like this week in fantasy basketball, Yahoo got a different week number than ESPN. ESPN is different than the NBA. I just wish next year everybody just follow the NBA because it's so freaking confusing. Like, come on, man. Like, give us a break. So with that being said, according to the NBA, this is week 21. According to Yahoo, this is week 19. And if you're playing on ESPN, this is week 20. It's, I don't want to say stupid, but I'm going to say something. Well, I said I don't want to say stupid, so I actually said stupid. So it's stupid. It's ridiculous, guys. Like, come on, man. We got to do better. We just got to do better. Back to the players. I know you guys are not here to listen to me rant, so we're going to jump right into the next player I want you guys to target. From the Washington Wizards, Keyshawn George. Over the last 7 days, again, this is a trend happening. We're in silly season. People who weren't valuable before are now valuable. Keyshawn George, over the last 7 days, averaging 34 minutes per game. Come on, man. That is profitable work. On a season, he's averaging 26.9. Over the last 7, 13.7 points per game. Yes. 6.3 rebounds. Yes. 5 assists per game. Come on. And mind you, that's a big jump from his season average where he's averaging 2.4 assists per game. So that's something to keep an eye on. And a common theme, again, we're seeing these defensive stats. 1.3 steals per game. Come on, grab yourself some Keyshawn George. The next play we want to talk about is also from the Washington Wizards. I'm going to just keep it going. We're going with the Wiz up in this piece. He's on down the road. Yeah, you guys are too young for that. That's the Wiz. Michael Jackson, Diana Ross. I'm old. Okay, Justin Champagnie. Whoa. Again, over the last 7 days, 22 points per game. Yes. 11 points per game. Yes. 6.3 rebounds. Come on. 1.7 assists. 0.7 steals. Not bad. But check this out. 1 block per game. Again, for me, I'm grabbing them if it works for my roster, depending on the size of your league, but he is currently available in 1.3%. He's only rostered in 1.3% of ESPN leagues. The next player we want to take a look at, last player, I promise, from the Washington Wizards. Again, someone I'm really, really hoping is available for you, but chances are he might not be. I just got to do my due diligence and talk about him. Your man's in him, Alex at the bar czar. Is Alex old enough to drink? I retract that statement. All right. Over the last 7 days, 26.7 minutes per game. Yes. 13.3 points. Come on. 4 rebounds. I want to see more. 3 assists. Not bad. 1 steal per game. Yes. And 0.7 blocks. So again, Alex Czar rostered more probably in a Yahoo league or in a Fantrax league, but according to ESPN right now, he is rostered in just 24.1% of leagues. So we're rolling through. I got to take my son to his engagement in a couple of minutes. So I want to push through this, but also make sure you guys stick around. I have a huge announcement I need to share with you at the end of this episode. Now we're going to go to the Motor City. I got a couple of players from Detroit I want to talk about, and the first one is widely available. He might not be available in your league, but if he is, grab him. From Detroit Pistons, your man's in them, Malik Beasley. Over the last 7 days, Leaky Leak is averaging 30 minutes per game, 15.7 points. Yes. 0.3 rebounds, that's bad. Like, I could get more rebounds than that. Come on, Malik. 0.7 assists, yuck. Steals, 0, blocks, 0. Ugh, man, his stats made me throw up in my mouth a little bit. Yeah. If he's available, though, I would consider him. They have a great start to the week, so you could add and drop him. Not a long-term hold by any stretch of the imagination, but you can hold him depending on the size of your league. Next up, from the Detroit Pistons, also, your man's in them, bloody eyeballs in the brawl, Isaiah Stewart. Your man would be like goon status out here. He'd be ready to pop off. Hopefully, he'll help you pop off and win your championship, or at least advance to the next round. Over the last 7 days, averaging 18 minutes per game, 6.5 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, half a steal. Come on. But check this out. 2.5 blocks per game. Yes, we love that. Other than that, he's honestly hot dog water with the bratwurst residue, but if he's available early on in the week, it could benefit you as you try to advance to the next round. So I would definitely consider grabbing him, depending on the size of your league, of course. Now we want to take a trip over to New Orleans. We're going to go body. I said, she body. You a big prime woman, don't back that thing up. From the New Orleans Pelicans, Jordan Hawkins. Now I really like Jordan Hawkins. Over the last 7 days, averaging 24 minutes per game. Yes. 10.7 points. Come on. 4.3 rebounds. Yes. 1.3 assists. I don't know about that. 0.7 steals and 0 blocks per game. Again, schedule play. They have a great schedule to start out the week. You can definitely drop him later on, but someone I'm taking a look at. Also, from the New Orleans Pelicans, Bout it himself, your man's in them, Carlo Matkovic. Oh, baby. Averaging 19.7 minutes per game over the last 7, 5.7 points. Yes. Well, maybe. I'm sorry. I got way too hyped for 5.7 points. 5 rebounds per game. I like that, especially if I'm in a category league. I can sneak in a little 5 points, 2.3 assists, 0.3 steals. But check this out, 1.7 blocks per game. I'm all about that Carlo. You know what I'm saying? Like the Barlows. Let's get it. Last player from the Pels. We got your men's in them. Oh, baby. Oh, faithful. From the Bodega, New York City zone. Jose Alvarado. Over the last 7 days, Jose is averaging 24.3 minutes per game, 5 points per game, 1.3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.7 steals. You know how he do that little sneaky thing where he like run behind you? Watch out for that. Definitely a play for the schedule. Not as crazy about any of these players as I like compared to Najee Marshall or Quentin Grimes, but definitely players you want to consider as you go into the week. And again, a lot of the names that are floating around right now are just for, in general, like ads for people who are performing. I'm literally thinking about the first half of your week to start off strong. So look at those players. Now, it's customary that we share all of the players that we hear about, or most of them, in our rapid fire waiver wire. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about our Substack community. If you love this community and you want to invest in what we're building, please consider becoming a paid subscriber. Think of it like treating me to a coffee and a bagel once a month. Becoming a paid subscriber will grant you access to our MVP Discord channel, priority DM and email replies, and priority Rate My Team videos. And most importantly, your support will help us to keep creating content. You are not obligated or expected to pay anything to be a part of this community, but there are expenses associated with running this operation, and your support will help us to keep this thing going for years to come. To get started, visit BelieveInFantasy.com, enter your email, and select the level of support that works for you, even if it's the free option. Now, before we go into the rapid fire, I do want to talk about the Nets. We have Keon Johnson, Zaire Williams, and Day'Ron Sharpe. It's worth noting that Cam Thomas is making a return, so there will be a slight decrease in value for those guys, but they have a 5-game schedule this week. So that's something you want to be mindful of. Even if you can get them a little bit of run this week, I would consider Keon, Zaire, and Day'Ron, because 5 games, if you calculate it as a total for what they contribute during the week, especially if you're in a points league, it might make the difference between you advancing or not. So really take a look at that. Now, before I go into this rapid fire waiver wire, I'm going to have a quick sip of my drink to make sure I don't choke over here. Okay. Now remember, stick around because we got an important announcement. But let's get into this rapid fire waiver wire. Now, these guys are must rosters, in my opinion, these first 2, but they might not be available in your league. Asar Thompson, yes. Dennis Schroeder, yes. Spencer Dinwiddie, yes. I don't think they're available in your league, but just had to put those names out there. Now, people are talking about these guys. Bol, maybe. Matas Buzelis, yes. Max Christie, yes. Aaron Wiggins, maybe. Aaron Nesmith, maybe. Aaron Hall, I'm joking. Aaron Hall is an R&B singer from the 90s that R. Kelly copied his whole swag, and then he went to prison, and Aaron Hall faded to obscurity. But that's for another podcast. Brandon Williams, yes. Karis LeVert, yes. Duncan Robinson, maybe. Todd Jerome, heck to the yes. Chris Dunn, maybe. Zach Collins, maybe. Kelly Olynyk, maybe. Kyle Filipowski, yes. Keon Ellis, yes. Bryce Sensabaugh, maybe. And last but not least, Davion Mitchell. Now, for the special announcement before we wrap up the episode, if you follow us on X or follow us on Instagram, you know that we recently brought on a contributor for our written content. He's an award-nominated fantasy basketball writer. He's currently working for NBC Sports, and now he's becoming a part of the Believe in Fantasy Basketball family. We want to welcome Noah Rubin to the team. So we're doing new stuff, right? So we're bringing Noah Rubin in. He's going to write a weekly article for you guys to help you with Dynasty. We're also going to expand the category leagues going into the new season. So Noah's going to help with a lot of that. Also going to be a ton of valuable content for points leagues players as well. So make sure you guys are a part of the Substack community. And to join, all you have to do is visit BelieveInFantasy.com. It's absolutely free, but you can be a paid subscriber if you like. Now, the next announcement is, so we brought Noah on. We are still looking for more writers. We right now are trying to get to a place where we can put out an article a day, Monday through Friday. And I'd like to have a different voice each day. The reason we're doing it is because throughout the season, I kept hearing that, hey, we want category content. Hey, we want roto content. So people come here for points leagues, and we want to make sure that we continue to be the gateway for fantasy basketball, welcoming new people into the community and into the sport. But we want to be mindful of our players who are advancing and growing and making sure that we serve you as well. So because of that, I saw the need. That's why we brought on Noah, and that's why we're bringing on a couple other writers. I don't want to announce them right now because everything isn't finalized, but we are also interested in you joining. If you are an aspiring fantasy content creator, an aspiring fantasy writer or journalist, or a sports journalist in general, and you're interested in writing fantasy content, please reach out to me at info@believeinfantasy.com, and we'll get on a call and see if you're a good fit for our team. So, now here's the big part of the announcement. I got to get a sip of this because this is huge. I'm about to drop a bomb on y'all. Okay, so this is a big deal. Kind of a big deal. Okay, so here is the big announcement. And I'm going to come to the chat in a minute after we close out the episode. So the big announcement is, at the end of this season, which is the end of the fantasy season, which is April 14th, I believe, it will be our last episode of the season. So for the first time ever, we will be taking a break. For the last 3 years, this is 21, 22, 23, this is going on our fourth season, right? We have never taken a break. We've put out content every week for the last few years, since we started the channel in 2021. We've never taken a week off or had an extended break. We might have had something come up where we had to adjust the schedule, but we've consistently been here for you guys, and we will continue to be here. But this season, we are ending at the end of the NBA season. And what we'll do is we'll have a hiatus. So from April 14th, right up until draft season, which is September, mid-September, we're going to not publish any audio podcast episodes, and we will not publish any YouTube videos. The good news is I'm going to get some time to retool to prepare for the next season. Also, take a mental health break because, as you guys know, if you're a part of the channel and the community, I have 2 kids, a wife, a very demanding job, and also a business that generates revenue to actually fund a lot of what we do here. So I have a private social media solutions company along with my work in social media for local government. So I have a lot going on outside of fantasy. And this year I want to just be really intentional so I can show up as the best version of myself for you. And also, another piece of breaking news that's all connected with this, I'm in the process of writing a book. So that's taken so much of my creative bandwidth. I'm writing this book, and it's connected to my social media work and my recent TEDx talk that I did. But I wanted to make sure I spoke to you guys about this because it's something that I serve you, the community, the fantasy basketball player, the guy watching this right now. And I want to make sure you know that this break is just so I can be a better version of myself. However, bringing on writers like Noah Rubin, bringing on you if you want to be a fantasy writer, and also the other people on this wall over here that we're working to confirm. We're going to continue to pump out content throughout the offseason, but it will be exclusively on our Substack newsletter as well as in our Discord community. So if you are part of the Discord community, let's stay as active as we've ever been in the offseason. And for the Substack community, continue to share that out. And my dream and hope is by the time we come back in September to record our mock draft videos, that we're going to be a stronger and richer community. So before I finish up the episode, I want to take time to shout out our MVPs, ASAP Corey, Arches, Chinasco, Drat, Flint Tropics, Jeff, and of course, our admin extraordinaire. I could not do this without this brother, my man, Ant Tech. So if you are in the Discord community, please drop some fire emojis for my man, Ant Tech, because he has been, one of the most important pieces of this puzzle, and there's no way that we could have had the season that we had without him. Now, with no further ado, we're going to conclude the episode. If you guys have questions for this week, I'm going to make sure that I answer every single comment in the YouTube version of this episode. So if you have questions this week, who you should add, who you should drop, what you need to do, please drop them in the comment section of the YouTube version of this episode. I'm responding to every single comment this week. Side note, don't go into a thread and add a comment in an existing thread. If you have a question, create a new thread, a new comment. And don't forget, play the waivers, set your lineups, and believe in fantasy.